to this session on Peace Corps Prep. We have a lot of information packed into this 15-minute presentation, so we'll move quickly. The presentation will be available on the UCEAP website, but feel free to take screenshots as we go along, and stick around for a brief Q&A. Let's start by highlighting the benefits of studying abroad through UCEAP. UCEAP is the official study abroad provider for the entire UC system. Our programs are designed specifically for UC students. And with programs in over 40 countries, UCEAP has the perfect study abroad program to suit your needs. While in UCEAP, you remain enrolled in your UC campus, which means you do not need to take a leave of absence during your study abroad program, and your UC financial aid goes with you. As a UCEAP student, you are guaranteed that all the courses you take abroad will receive UC credit. Welcome, my name is Sarah Abraham, and I am the Program Coordinator for UCEAP's Peace Corps Prep Program. I'm joined today by John Keller, the Peace Corps Recruiter for UC Davis, and Jay Minert, the Director of Outreach and Academic Engagement at UC San Diego Study Abroad. Both are returned Peace Corps volunteers.
Hi, this is John Keller, your friendly neighborhood Peace Corps recruiter. For those who may not be familiar with the Peace Corps, here are 5 things that you should know. It's a highly professional and selective federal program where volunteers work in a host country with local communities to achieve that community's goals. Volunteers choose the region where they go and the kind of work they do. It is a 27-month commitment, with the first 3 months focusing on extensive training, including language training and how to do your job, followed by 24 months of service. There are several benefits for Peace Corps volunteers once they finish their service, including 1 year of non-competitive eligibility, with gives you an advantage for federal government jobs like NASA and the Forest Service, along with benefits in grad school and student loan assistance, and more. Peace Corps volunteers focus in one of 6 different work sectors. They are agriculture, education, health, community economic development, which is similar to business, environment, and youth and development. You'll see the Peace Corps Prep program is also structured around these 6 different work sectors.
So, because Peace Corps is very selective, it launched the Peace Corps Prep program to help college students better prepare for Peace Corps service. It has collaborated with UCEAP to offer the program to UC students. It is a self-paced, free certificate program that helps you develop the skills and experience to become a highly competitive applicant for Peace Corps. And for those not sure if they want to join Peace Corps after they graduate, the program can serve as a way to prepare for a career in international development, public service, or the NGO sector. The Peace Corps Prep program creates a framework for building the 4 core competencies critical to being a Peace Corps volunteer. During the program, you will integrate coursework with hands-on experience, professional development, and a term abroad with UCEAP. The prep program corresponds to the Peace Corps application process, which lets you choose the region you want to go to and what you want to do. So you can first explore and discover the Peace Corps opportunities that excite you and what skills you will need to be competitive for those positions, and then shape your curriculum around those requirements. The Peace Corps Prep Student Guide has all the details and is essentially your campus-specific handbook to all the program's requirements. In the next slide, I'll share a conversation I taped earlier with a returned Peace Corps volunteer about his experience serving abroad in Belize and Palau.
Joining me today is Jay Minert. Jay is the Director of Outreach and Academic Development at Study Abroad UC San Diego and is a returned Peace Corps volunteer. In fact, he's also a Peace Corps recruiter. Welcome, Jay.
Thank you, Sarah. Thank you for having me. Yeah.
Such a pleasure. Well, let's get started. So can you share with us where you served and what kind of work you did with the Peace Corps?
Sure. I served in the Peace Corps way back in the 1990s. From 1993 to 1995, I did 2 years of service in Belize in Central America. And I was sent to Belize. My assignment area was urban youth development. And I was assigned to Belize City to work with, street kids, youth who had dropped out of school. And my assignment area was the Belize Youth Conservation Corps. And so I was also doing a lot of environmental education work. So I ran the Conservation Corps. I would recruit students from Belize City, take them out, and we would do Conservation Corps activities. and it was just the best moments of my life. And I loved it so much, I ended up extending my service for another year. I went to the Republic of Palau, which is in Micronesia area, right west of the Federated States of Micronesia. And I did a library science project doing environmental education as well. And as you mentioned, years later, so after I got back from Peace Corps, I did graduate school, and then I became a Peace Corps recruiter in Seattle for about 3 years, doing recruiting work for the Peace Corps. So I love the agency. I love the work that they do, and yeah, it's great stuff.
That's wonderful, and I love how your roles changed, and you're to this day still contributing by helping us get the word
Yeah.
out about Peace Corps prep. So, what kind of skills did you develop during that first service that you did in Belize?
Absolutely. Well, thinking about this question, I would say the main skill is leadership, right? I was 23 years old, fresh out of college, hadn't really held a real adult job, yet. And I was thrust into this role where I was in charge of being a crew supervisor for a bunch of, high school age students who were only a little bit younger than me, right? And so just gaining those leadership skills, just forcing myself to kind of step out of my comfort zone, and to really, challenge myself to challenge my students. And it was learning on the go. There's no real manual to teach you how to be a crew supervisor with the Conservation Corps. I learned everything on the go. After my 3 months of training that all Peace Corps volunteers received when they joined the Peace Corps, after that was done, I continued to, really just learn up until I left. It was a learning experience for me. But I would say overall leadership, definitely was the top.
And what an important skill. And you mentioned getting out of your comfort zone. A lot of people associate studying abroad with getting out of your comfort zone. And I know you studied abroad in college. Um, how did that kind of prepare you for serving in Peace Corps?
Yeah, absolutely. So when I was an undergraduate student, I majored in anthropology, and my focus was the Maya. I love the Mayan Indians and the Mundo Maya down in Central America, and I even have my background with all of my Mayan stuff, which is awesome.
Very nice.
And yeah, basically my faculty director, my mentor, encouraged me to do the Peace Corps. He said, look, whether or not you go to the area where the Maya are, that's irrelevant. You should do the Peace Corps, get out of your comfort zone, do all that. And I was just so lucky in that I got Belize because I was willing to go pretty much anywhere. Because back in those days, you couldn't choose where you wanted to go, right? You could say like which region of the world, and I said, oh, I'd love to go, Africa, the Caribbean, Latin America, send me wherever. And I felt like Belize kind of um, hit all of those, right? Because Belize is in Central America, but it's a very Caribbean country, and there's a lot of African influence. The Creoles are there, the Garifuna are there, and
Mm-hmm.
it's a small country, but it's rich in culture. And I got to continue my love and study with the Maya. Got to go check out a lot of great Maya ruins. And there's three Mayan groups in Belize: the Kekchi Maya, the Mopan Maya, and the Yucatec Maya. And yeah, it was just a continuation of my studies, and so it was a perfect assignment. I was very happy when I got it.
Excellent. I'm jealous. Um, and so, do you have any advice for how students can assess whether Peace Corps might be for them?
Yeah, so kind of like back your last question. When I went abroad, I studied abroad to Guatemala and Honduras in college, right? And I didn't go with any traditional provider like EAP or anybody. I was very independent, and so I kind of strapped on a backpack and just did it. And so that really gave me a lot of preparation for what was to come with regards to the self, with the self control and self initiation that you have to do as a Peace Corps volunteer, right? And so, certainly the preparation is, you have to be resourceful. And you have to really um, you have to really want to get with the people in a way that isn't so American, I guess. Meaning, for me, it was much more important to know a community and get to know the students that I was working with and the other people that I was working with in the so that was a real interesting, kind of transition, because up until the Peace Corps, as an American, we're all kind of like, oh, what do I want to do? I'm very work oriented. I want to get something done. I want to really, teach a school English or build a well. And, sometimes the Peace Corps, it's not that cut and dry, right? And for me, it was a lot of community building, a lot of the tangible, quantitative project work came slowly. But while that may have been frustrating during the moments, um, as I've continued throughout my life, I've always remembered that experience, and remember, it's not always about how many wells you dig or how many students you teach English to. It's about the communication. It's about the friendships, and the partnerships that one develops.
So flexibility, you would say self-starter, and community-oriented, perhaps.
Absolutely. Community is number one, right? And flexibility is a given. I think, a lot of times, and I'm guilty of this myself. When you join the Peace Corps, I was assigned to be an urban youth development volunteer. I was envisioning myself working in an urban area. It's in the title, right? And indeed, I lived in Belize City, but I had to be flexible. I would go out to all different parts of Belize. I had to learn how to, teach kids how to swim and then later scuba dive. And we worked with the Audubon Society doing jungle survival training and restoration management stuff. And so I'm a kid from Flint, Michigan. I didn't know any of that stuff. So flexibility is key. Self-starter is key. No one's going to be there to kind of tell Peace Corps volunteers on the daily what to do, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes some assignments are a little bit more structured than others. I know that teachers obviously have a little bit more structure to their lives in terms of teaching classrooms and creating lesson plans and whatnot. But as a crew supervisor with Belize Youth Conservation Corps, every day was new. Every day we kind of just create. Okay, who are we going to work with now? Let's pick up the phone and start making contacts to be able to do our next project. Grant writing, all of that stuff played into it. So.
Well, that sounds so good. I think you encapsulate for our students exactly kind of what to think about as they move forward, and sounds like you had a wonderful time. And we thank you so much for joining us today, Jay.
Thank you for having me, Sarah.
Thank you.
All right.
I hope this presentation has provided you with a brief introduction to Peace Corps Prep. To learn more, please visit our webpage. There you can register for the next informational webinar, fill in an application for Peace Corps Prep, or download the student guide for your campus. You can also connect with me or a Peace Corps recruiter. If you are interested in joining Peace Corps Prep, you can now apply during the fall cycle or wait until March in the spring cycle. And if you haven't done so already, you also want to decide on which UCEAP program to apply to. The UCEAP website has detailed information about program options, finances, health and safety, and more. You should also visit your UC Campus Study Abroad office website for information on application steps and deadlines. Appointments for one-on-one advising sessions with UCEAP advisors will be available during the week of November 2nd through 6th. The link for the bookings is on this slide, and I've entered it into the chat as well. Thank you for attending this session. We will now move on to the Q&A, so please send questions for me, John, or Jay in the chat box.